Speaking of movies, I love really good pranksters. And I love professional pranksters, and I love kind of like reality TV. I love people who embarrass other people. It's funny. I'm a big fan of these guys. They're called the Good Liars. They've been on our show before. They are professional pranksters. They've pranked everybody from the President of the United States to Joe Biden. And we're going to talk to Jason Selvig, who's one of the two. They are a very funny duo, and they have a new movie coming out called The Supporters. And I want to play you. It's out tomorrow. Want to play you a little tidbit from the trailer. Have a listen to this.
We're going to spread the gospel.
Yeah.
We're going to spread the word of Trump.
We're heading to New York City. We're going to become big cable news stars.
Look out of here.
And everyone is going to love us.
Are you flicking me off?
Please just call Trump. Please.
Donald Trump supporters are getting kicked out of the Trump International Hotel right now. It's not working.
It definitely felt like there was a conspiracy of some sort.
There's one scene that I've seen from these guys where somebody plays a Fox News reporter and the other person is a CNN reporter. They're doing live stand-ups like 5 feet away from each other, and they get into a physical fight in New York City. Oh, it's great. So Jason Selvig is one of the Good Liars, and he joins us right now on the line. Jason, thanks for joining us, man. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Jason?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Going good.
You guys are absolutely hilarious. I want to go back a few years ago before we talk about this movie, because you guys, you and your partner there, went to a Trump rally, and I watched this video over and over again, and you're standing there right in front of Donald Trump, and you're very exuberant, and you're huge Trump supporters. You're decked out in the MAGA stuff, and then right in the middle of his speech, you guys look at each other. This is boring. This is boring, Mr. President. You're really boring. And he looks at you and he throws you out. And I almost pissed my pants. I was laughing so hard. Tell me a little bit about that. That was unbelievably funny.
Well, you know what? There's a lot of truth in art, and that art usually resonates with people. And the truth was, we were really bored by him. His speech got really, really boring. And we had a whole other prank planned, but we realized in the moment that this would hurt Donald Trump more than anything has ever hurt him in the past. And if you saw the look on his face,
Yeah.
he wanted to kill us. And he probably thought about us when he went to bed that night.
Knock, knock, FBI.
There's no question you embarrassed him, and it was so funny. Isn't it true that, because I think I saw this video where you proposed to Elizabeth Warren as she's on the stage. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, the movie is called The Supporters, and DeVram and I played two Trump supporters named Derek and Dale, who have dreams of being huge Fox News stars. And we realized the way to achieve that dream is to read Art of the Deal and follow in Donald Trump's footsteps and create the most perfect demo tape in history and deliver it to Fox News. And along the way, I spend all of my character's wife's money. Actually, it's the college fund for our daughter, Ivanka. And she divorces me. And I am kind of spiraling. And DeVram's character, Dale, is like, what would Donald Trump do in this situation? He would find a new wife. So that leads me to being on stage with Elizabeth Warren and proposing to her in the middle of her campaign rally.
How do you get in these situations where you have access, where you just, like, I remember it was Ted Cruz, right? Ted Cruz is doing a rally, and you guys just get up there on stage as Ted Cruz is trying to speak, and you totally disrupt his rally and somehow grab the microphone. I mean, how do you guys get in these situations where you have this type of access?
Well, DeVram there was just, I think his secret there was he was a white guy in a tie with a clipboard, and people just let him walk up with Ted Cruz. It wasn't like he was like sneaking up or like jumping on stage. They just assumed,
that's genius.
That with his white privilege that he could just walk right on stage.
He's a white guy with a clipboard and a suit, so nobody said anything to him. By the way, when you talk about this movie and, you divorced your wife, there's a moment, and I don't want to give away every scene in this movie, but I have to ask you this. You're at a Joe Biden campaign rally, and you're standing there, and you have a question for Joe Biden. It's like a town hall. And your question to him is, I just broke up with my wife. Can you give me advice? Describe that moment, because that is just, it's so funny.
Well, right before that in the movie, my wife, she found out that our daughter Ivanka's college fund was drained for our quest for Donald Trump's love, and she divorces me, and I'm in a spiral. And it was supposed to be a gotcha interview. I was supposed to go up there and ask him some really hard-hitting questions. But because my life is falling apart, I just asked Joe Biden for some life advice. And it kind of starts to annoy Joe Biden. And at the end of it, he says, "I'm beginning to see why your wife left you."
Right, I saw
and
that. Did he speak
is
to
a
you?
gut punch to me.
Did he even speak to you after? Because I know he said he was going to. Did he even talk to you after, or did they know that you were pranksters?
Didn't, but I think he probably figured out that we were pranking. But we left before the rally was over because there's some other stuff that happened there too. You have to watch the movie, and we ended up leaving before the rally was over. But I did believe him. I will say, I watched the early debates with the Democrats, and I was like, oh, I hope Joe Biden's with it. He seems like he might be losing it a little bit.
He probably
but then when
believed
I saw
you.
him in person,
Yeah.
he was there, and he was like, I was actually really impressed after seeing him speak live.
And I
of course,
believe
I ruined his event, but
I thought he handled it. But I thought he handled it great. He showed a sense of humor, right? Can I ask you this?
Yeah, exactly.
The difference between disrupting a Trump rally and pranking them and somebody like Joe Biden. Can you explain to me the difference in how you were treated?
Well, there is a scene, and I don't want to give away too much about the movie, but there is a scene towards the end where we are at a Trump rally, and things get physical. And there's definitely, since 2016, the Trump rallies have gotten more violent. I think that the Trump supporters feel a little bit more secure in that they could throw a punch or they could shove you on the ground, and nothing's going to happen to them because the president is encouraging them to do it.
Right.
Yeah, so it does get a little bit scarier now, I think, at the Trump rallies.
If you're just joining us, we're speaking with Jason Selvig. He's from The Good Liars. They are professional pranksters. Trust me, folks, they are hilarious. They have a new movie that's out tomorrow called The Supporters. We're talking about that movie with one of the two Good Liars, Jason Selvig. All right, I got to talk about one more scene, and again, I don't want to give away the entire movie, but this is one of my favorite scenes in this movie. We remember Tom Steyer. He's a billionaire. He's got a ton of money. He's in the middle of campaigning, and he's on a debate, not a debate stage, but a campaign stage. And there's probably, I don't know, maybe 500 people, 1,000 people there. It is your partner in crime who shows up all disheveled, causing a scene, and he says, "I was hit by Tom Steyer. Tom Steyer just ran me over," and he looks all disheveled. And then you're seen on the other side of the stage, and you make it into like an attorney ad. "Hey, do you have a problem? Were you hit by a car by Tom Steyer? Call the law offices of blah, blah, blah." And while all this is going on, everybody in the crowd is, what the hell is going on? The look on Tom Steyer's face while you guys are doing this is priceless. Talk to me a little bit about that. It was genius.
Well, in this scene of the movie, we're trying to get money because we need to revamp our van studio. We do all the podcasting and our show out of the van that we live in, and we decide that the best way to do it is to scare a billionaire into paying us off. So we need to, it's DeVram's character, his dad used to jump in front of cars and tractors to get settlements for people. So he was like, "Oh, this will work." So we accuse him of hitting us with a car, and then it's like, well, we need him to believe we're a lawyer, so we just might as well have a lawyer commercial. And then at the end of it, I go up to Tom, and we're on a first-name basis, by the way. Yeah, I go up to Tom, and I say, "What's the big deal? Why don't you give me $1 million, and we'll let this whole thing, we'll push this aside. We'll forget it ever happened." And then one of his supporters comes up and tries to punch me in the stomach. It was insane.
Are you
Tom
serious?
Steyer's like such a nice guy. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's unbelievable. So how do you deal with a situation like that? You just walk out of there, run out of there? Like what? Obviously you have your own camera crew that's there as well.
Yeah, we had but there was a row of cameras there, and I was shocked there. Like at a Trump rally, I would expect it, and it wasn't like we were doing anything violent to anyone or anything like that.
Right.
And so when the guy tried to punch me, I was like, "This is insane!" And to the point where his handlers, who were trying to get me out of there, when the guy tried to punch me, we both looked at each other, and we're like, whoa, this guy's crazy, even though I just did a lawyer commercial in the middle of a campaign.
You might have actually been injured, and you might have actually needed a lawyer. You could have gotten paid off. That's the irony of what you were doing. So we all know Kimberly Guilfoyle, the best is yet to come. So you had, days after that, you had a little experience with Kimberly Guilfoyle where I believe she was signing autographs for her fans. You're literally a few feet away from you, and I want to play this. This is Jason Selvig from The Good Liars. He's literally a few feet away from Kimberly Guilfoyle. Listen to this.
He's going to be a big jump. The best is yet to come!
And you're doing this when you're like a foot away from her, so obviously she hears you, and you're screaming it out. Like, what took place there? Describe to me that situation.
Well, this actually was part of a scene in the movie that was not related as much to my character as it is to Ram's character, because COVID hits us in the scene in the movie, and the tragedy strikes Derek and Dale with COVID, and that's all I'll give away with it. And we perform, and DeVram's character performs a ceremony there during a Kimberly Guilfoyle event, regards to somebody who was affected by COVID in his life. And then at the end, I'm so moved by her words that I just have to scream right next to her. The best is yet to come.
That was so awesome. Listen, I cannot wait for this movie. It's out tomorrow. I'm a big fan of what you guys do. I just want to touch on a couple other pranks and what you guys have done in the past. I love the posters you guys put up, particularly the Ted Cruz poster and some of these other posters, Pathetic Cowards for Trump. Can you talk to me a little bit about some of these posters and some of these ideas? They are all over social media, and they are hilarious. I know you did a Marco Rubio one, and you've done others. Talk to me a little bit about them, because they're so funny.
Oh, sure. Thank you very much for the kind words, first of all. But the posters, honestly, we started doing these posters because during COVID, we started production of this movie, and then everything got shut down, and we're like, oh my gosh, we have all these ideas and these things we want to do, and I just want to put some creative energy towards something. So we started doing these posters. And the Pathetic Cowards for Trump is a group, I think of it, it's 4 Republicans now who have been insulted by Donald Trump in various ways, and them voicing their support for them. So Ted Cruz is, this November, please vote for the man who called my wife ugly, which Donald Trump famously called Ted Cruz's wife ugly, and also accused his dad of assassinating JFK.
Right.
And called him a bad word that I won't repeat on the radio.
Right.
And then we did one for Marco Rubio that basically lists all the insults that Trump had called him. I think he called him a pathetic joker with big ears. Right. And then, of course, last week we had to put one out, or 2 weeks ago, for Chris Christie, because, the Trump campaign didn't even bother to tell him he was exposed to COVID-19 during his debate prep, and he found out from the news about that. So he is also a pathetic coward for Trump. And there might be a new member of the Pathetic Cowards for Trump campaign coming out later this week.
Ooh, tell me about that My Pillow KKK poster you guys did, because for Mike Lindell, that's also hilarious.
Well, Tucker Carlson, who is a white supremacist, he was, his only sponsor now is My Pillow, because the sponsors have left, basically. Right. Because of his white nationalist viewpoints. And I won't actually, I was going to ask you a question, but I won't do it. So we put out a poster of him hugging a KKK hood, just like he hugs the pillows, because he is just buddying up to white supremacy.
I love it. I love it.
And you can see all of these on our Instagram at TGLNYC, or on We're Get the Good Liars on Twitter as well.
That's right. And I forgot it. There's a scene in this movie where you actually asked former presidential candidate Yang for a cash advance. That's also a funny one. Didn't you also, once again, try to prank Donald Trump Jr., and you changed the cover of his book once again? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Oh, sure. Yeah, we, the new cover.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm looking at this right now. Yeah, he just had a new book called Liberal Privilege, making fun of white privilege, I guess. So, but we changed the cover of his book to white privilege, but not like the race white privilege, but because of his cocaine addiction, his pretty obvious cocaine addiction. And so there's piles of cocaine.
No, we're talking about Hunter Biden. We're talking about DT Jr.
We're talking about Don Jr.
Oh, okay.
And you know what? In all fairness, it is probably an Adderall addiction and not cocaine. He's probably just running Adderall.
I love it. I love it. So how did that go?
It went great. He loved it, and he signed it. No, it didn't. His security shoved us away pretty hard. But there is a scene in the movie from that same event that doesn't include the book because that wasn't really in our characters. But
Gotcha.
You'll see that scene in the movie.
You guys got balls. You guys are absolutely hilarious. I love the fact that these are real situations, real events that happened, and what I love about it is it's something that you guys aren't copying other people. This is so original. It's such original humor, and I cannot wait to watch it tomorrow. So I want to give you a chance once again to plug this new movie that's going to be coming out tomorrow, The Supporters. So how do people find this movie, Jason? Where do they go?
Well, so for tomorrow, we're doing a special with our Patreon subscribers or people that support our Patreon. They get to watch the movie 2 days early, which is tomorrow. So if you sign up for a Patreon, you can sign up for $1. Doesn't matter, and then you can cancel it right after this month if you want. But we'd love it if you didn't. But you will get early access to The Supporters, and then it's going to come out in a wider release on various platforms later this week, Thursday or Friday. We're literally putting the finishing touches on it right now. It is a very, very current movie.
I'm going to make a prediction. You guys are going to be absolute national superstars when people find out who you guys are and what you're doing. I'm telling you, you guys are going to be on the big screen very, very soon because I think you guys are very funny, very talented, and very original. So, Jason, I always appreciate it when you guys come on our show. We always love to hear these pranks, whether it's a Democrat or a Republican. You guys are very, very good at it, that's for sure. I hope you can come on our show again soon, and I cannot wait to watch this movie, The Supporters. I'm going to be signing up tonight myself. Jason, thank you so much for coming on, man. Really appreciate you.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on, guys.
You bet.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Jason.
That is Jason Selvig from The Good Liar.